news from around the world of cryptocurrency. If you guys can hear me and this is coming in clear, please do let me know. I checked the internet speed and it said it should be good to go, but it wasn't the strongest reading that I've ever gotten. This is a great hotel, but they have me at the end of the hotel. So if you guys are out there and you guys can see this or hear this, please do smash up the likes. So anyways, we got 2 people watching. Um, what time is it where you guys are at? All right, there we go. So you guys can hear me. Good. All right, 23 people. Everyone's cruising. It's coming in clear. There might be a little bit of a lag. Yes, I am coming to you from Dubai. So today in this video, we're going to talk about Vechain. We're going to talk about Ethereum Classic, and we're going to talk about the owner of the New York Stock Exchange, who the press is really, well, actually the other media outlets besides us are announcing that he has intentions to step into cryptocurrency exchanges, which is not not too bad. You know, give Coinbase a run for its money, right? Keep them honest. But also, Starbucks is looking to use cryptocurrency potentially also. So there's a lot of news around here about that's positive for cryptocurrency. But if you look at the market, not too much upward momentum, right? So the first news item that I want to talk about is the New York Stock Exchange. All right, so you guys have already pumped up those likes, so I know you guys can hear me, so I'll keep on rolling. Wait. Okay, if I read some of these comments right now, it might derail me from my thoughts. The Intercontinental Exchange, the operator behind the New York Stock Exchange, has announced that it is creating a new company called Bakkt. Okay. So this will be powered by Microsoft Cloud Tech and plans to begin with trading and converting Bitcoin to US dollars and other fiat government backed. So not just US dollar, it could be, uh, you know, the yen or euro. We'll see. But it's interesting because it also goes on to announce that Bitcoin would have to hit a total price per coin of $213,000 per coin in order to replace the US money supply. So if you want to compare apples and oranges or Bitcoin to US dollar, that's how much it would cost for one Bitcoin to replace the US money supply, for those of you who are wondering if that's even humanly possible, right? All right. So if that's pretty good news to know that, go ahead and pump up the like button for that one, because I found that to be an interesting little tidbit. You see, some people would say, "Oh, what's that mean?" Well, that means now you know. Okay, there's a quantity. It's quantified. The next thing that we're taking a look at, for those of you who are into VeChain, you might have noticed a little bit of unique price action. And what's happened is VeChain now has a higher circulating supply. So the circulating supply, the market cap is still 724 million, but the circulating supply went way up. So if you're wondering what's going on with the VeChain, there you go. We're not going to get too big into that, but I will say that there was some pretty interesting news. VeChain selected by the Shanghai government to use its traceability solution for drugs and vaccines. So, um, you know, this kind of has something to say about academic, right? I mean, those medical, there's also patientory, but, this is medical related, right? So the fact that the governments are choosing VeChain and not something like academic says something. We'll see, to those of you who hold uh, academic. Also, one more thing. When we post on social media, or if someone posts on social media, you don't, and it doesn't necessarily fall in line with your version of what should be said. If it's true, it's true. You can't say it's FUD about everything. So, well, you can do whatever you want, right? But not everything's FUD. If the price of Bitcoin goes down, that doesn't mean it's FUD. It just means that the price of Bitcoin went down. Or like when we reported that, we posted a picture of the VeChain price, people thought we were trying to spread FUD, but what we were doing was saying, well, don't be alarmed at the price of VeChain now, because the circulating supply has gone up and there's the airdrop and all that. We weren't trying to spread FUD. We were giving an alert to let you guys know this is what's happened with Vechain. Okay. That's all that was. It wasn't spreading FUD. It was just there's been a change to Vechain, and they have a higher circulating supply, which means less per coin. Jeff, since you're in Dubai, what are your thoughts on Dubai coin? Well, I will say that Dubai is an amazing city. Okay, it's an amazing city in a lot of regards. A lot of regards. It's unlike any city I've ever been to. Period. The closest city that I would compare Dubai to would have to be Singapore. And even then, it's not like Singapore because Singapore is green and Dubai is dirt. But they're trying to put some green here. So yeah. All right. So what's going on with Starbucks, right? Everybody wants to know. Starbucks partnership with guess who? Yet again, Microsoft. So it's funny. Bill Gates, Microsoft founder, has gone on record recently alongside Warren Buffett to say not so positive things about cryptocurrency. Yet a lot of the blockchain stuff that's being talked about is powered by Microsoft Cloud and Microsoft solutions. Now, does that mean that see, Bill Gates isn't necessarily involved in day-to-day operations with stepped away from Microsoft, but or he knows something about the cryptocurrency market that we don't know, and I don't know. We'll see. But Microsoft appears to be the strong company behind most of this cryptocurrency kind of uh, adaptation. So let's see here. I'm gonna take a look at some of you guys. My dog told me 50 BTC end of year. Okay, it looks like you guys are pretty interested in Dubai coin. I'm seeing, oh, it's the same guy who keeps saying Dubai coin. What's going on, Chris? Yeah, so Chris has altcoinbuzz.io on the radar. Chris Parada, he's been doing a fantastic job along with Sebastian, building out altcoinbuzz.io as a news media outlet. So, as you know, I've stepped away from a lot of the day-to-day task, and I still participate, but it's more of a community consensus, and the community is straight organic, straight from you guys to uh, cryptocurrency and the news aspect of it. News is news. You can't really have an opinion in news. It is what it is, right? So Chris is one of those guys out there who's done a great job in building out altcoinbuzz.io as a reputable, uh, you know, news media outlet. So I'm still participating in cryptocurrency and on altcoin buzz, but it's more than just me, and it has been for quite some months now. All right, so let's see here. Yeah, you've got Lisa, Garrett, Luke, Andrew, and James. So there's 5 right there, and then you have Shosh Watt. You have a couple people behind the scenes also that you guys, so we're growing. And obviously, with the bull run still pending, I mean, we're still staying strong. Whereas some channels have just like shut down, we still at least post every day. So that says something about our team is that we haven't run away. Let's see, this guy, Randy McMurphy. Yeah, but Bill Gates hates the Bitcoins. If he was a philanthropist, he would tell everyone to buy the coins, then put trillions of dollars into his billionaire buddies. Well, that's a shoulda, coulda, woulda. I mean, we could tell. When was the last time a billionaire listened to the average Joes? Just doesn't happen, right? Um, I actually have not been increasing coinage here recently. The last bit of stuff that I bought was some Bitcoin, some Ripple, some uh, Stellar Lumens. See some Bitcoin Cash. I haven't bought Bitcoin Cash since it was below 700. I want to say in the 690 range. It's up, so it hasn't been a terrible investment for me. But those are about the only coins that I've bought recently. Oh, I bought some Cardano also. But yeah, that's the only stuff I've bought. I haven't really gone out and about. Top 3 coins to buy right now, because I'm not really in that buying mindset, more in the hold mindset. But if I'm just looking at prices, good question. Uh, well, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're usually some strong buys. Those two coins right there, I think right now are at a pretty good buy point. Stellar, I think Stellar's, we'll see how much this market bleeds out, but if I'm just looking at these prices, I wouldn't I would say right now, I mean, unless the market continues to bleed out, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, Cardano's, I'd like to see that project do a little bit more putting points on the board than talk. Uh, to be quite honest with you, I mean, I'm patient, but Cardano, like you could have the best tech ever, but it comes down to your social skills also. I mean, you got to be able to have the adoption through social. And Cardano, I don't know how much they have that going on. So they might have great tech and they might be spending a lot of time getting the tech going, but as far as social goes and the adoption, I think they should be doing more. It's not me spreading FUD. That's just saying this is what it is. This is what we see going on. Whereas Tron, they might not have the greatest tech, but they have outstanding social. Tron also below 3 cents. You know, that's an interesting project. But then I'd like to see them do a lot less talking and, you know, so if like Tron, if Cardano had Tron's marketing, that would be like a really awesome collaboration. But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin Cash is, I told you I bought it under 700. It's below 700 again. So EOS below $8. People are wondering if it's good time to buy Ethereum Classic. I mean, these are just my opinion. Like, please do not take it too serious, okay? And I mean, if you're gonna ask a question, I'll give you the answer. Um, let's see. Toronto Pump again, says Mike. Anytime someone says "mark my words" in crypto, and if I and they're not actively working on blockchain, I don't take it serious. Like anytime someone makes, I'd say 90% of the YouTubers, when they're making predictions, I'm not listening to any of them. That's 90% of them. I mean, there's some YouTube channels that I've watched come up over the last, I don't know, 8 months, 7, 8 months that have been making predictions inaccurately for the last 7 to 8 months. And I mean, I was still hawking the market up until about February, March, but once I noticed that we were really seriously looking bearish, I had to step back from all my bullish ambitions. But some of these YouTube channels still to this day are throwing projections around pretty hardcore. So if you're gonna be tracking these YouTube channels, uh, mm, be careful with people who make predictions. Projections are one thing, but predictions. Anytime someone says they're making a prediction, I stop listening. Prediction, I don't listen to anyone who tries to make predictions, and that includes McAfee. Yeah, it's a different market right now. Jason says Jeff was my favorite before February covering new coins, but I understand different market. That was what it was. It was I had to, it's like we we all had to kind of change our course of direction, and I look forward to the day when the market's exciting again, so I can, because I'm more of a, I guess you could say I'm more, when I'm excited, I'm excited. If I'm not excited, it's not exciting for me. So we'll see. I mean, my biggest interest in it all is possibly just reporting the news. You know, hey guys, we're at 70 likes. Thanks to everyone who pushed up the likes. Uh, what coin? There you go. And Christopher hit the nail on the head here. He says, what coins actually have use cases? This is what I tweeted out the other day. I said, did you guys know that PayPal has okay, so PayPal, used by millions, has a lower market cap than Bitcoin. Now, we're not talking about PayPal replacing the dollar yet, but And I'm not saying that would ever happen or has been talked about happening, but Bitcoin still has a higher market cap than PayPal, and it's not used by millions. I mean, I don't know the exact number of people who use PayPal, but it's a lot, and you guys know that. But go look at the PayPal market cap. I'll even give it to you right here, right now. Let's see, PayPal market cap, 99 point, or actually, yeah, market cap. PayPal's market cap is at 99 billion. Okay. You know how I know about PayPal's market cap? Because I invested in PayPal. I've been invested in PayPal. So I don't just go all in on crypto, but I also like solutions like this, which are PayPal is really the first peer-to-peer uh, outside of banks that we've ever seen. PayPal was, if you look at all the successful people who came from PayPal, from Peter Thiel to Reid Hoffman to Elon Musk, I mean, PayPal was the one who did it. And then they were acquired by eBay. But if you look at all the companies, like the founders of PayPal, what they did with their money ended up creating, well, Elon Musk, just for one, SpaceX. So the wealth, it kind of reminds me of what could be said about the Coinbase guys. We don't know who Satoshi is, but like the Coinbase guys kind of remind me of what PayPal was. You have uh, many of those guys, even some of the guys on the team for PayPal ended up going on to found or to be founders of YouTube. So I mean, so much came from the PayPal mafia, as they like to call them. Go ahead and Google it. It's called the PayPal mafia. All right. Let's see here. PayPal is not a store of value. Okay, yeah, PayPal is not a store of value. That could be said. Um, okay. People saying, "Can I please answer them?" What are you asking me? I can't read all. If I read all the questions, people get bored because then they're like, just don't pay attention to people who are trying. People don't. A lot of the audience doesn't like when I just answer questions. I've read some of those comments where they're like, "Please, Jeff, don't read all these comments." But I'll listen. Hopefully, you have something interesting to say. Where do you see crypto after 30 years? Okay. Wow. You're asking me for a prediction, even though you don't like predictions, but or even though I don't like doing predictions. I mean, if crypto's the real deal, why not? Why not? It should be the real deal. I mean, it should be there, but I have no idea. I really 30 years. I don't. I'm more 5 to 10 years. Okay, I can't do 30 years. 30 years is too far out. The way the world changes. I mean, look at it how the world was 30 years ago. 30 years ago would have put us in 1990 or 1988, right? So uh, look how much has changed since 1988. What there was a people donated to me. Um, Yeah. I mean, it's not that people don't know anything, it's just that predictions are more about ego and pride and trying to have a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whereas if you take a more sound projection, you could, like when you're talking to bosses or investors, what do they want from you? They want a business plan with a financial projection, right? So they want to see the projection of where you think the business can grow. That's called, planning out your business success. A prediction is just kind of like, hey, let me grab a number out of the hat and see what comes up. Okay, so projections and predictions are different. That's why when we're looking at people who are giving predictions, especially people who consistently give predictions, you'll notice a lot of times they're not correct. Craig Wright said BTC is 10 year dead in 10 years because he's saying BCH is Craig Wright does not like hodl. If you talk to Craig Wright and you say that you're into hodling, he'll tell you go spend your Bitcoin or spend your Bitcoin cash. That's what Bitcoin was originally designed for. Spend it, save it, pass it around, transact with Bitcoin. That's what Craig Wright wants. He doesn't want you to do Bitcoin as a store of value to hodl and all that. Hey, thanks, Doc. Appreciate that. I don't as far as the ET and as far as your question about the ETF, I'm not, that there was a lot of hype about the ETF that came up here recently, and obviously we saw where that ended up. And you know, it's with the New York Stock Exchange getting into, or the owner of the New York Stock Exchange getting into crypto and building an exchange. I think that says something about opening up that door for sure, though. I mean, to answer your question, Doc. What we were talking about VeChain was, yeah, we were talking about how the circulating supply of VeChain went up, and also how the government in Shanghai is using VeChain services, blockchain solutions for tracking vaccines and other uh, medical related, let's see, drugs and vaccines. Okay. So it says this has been a big week for the VeChain Thor as it made a series of developments that will add value in the long term. The world's 20th largest cryptocurrency will now be used for traceability solution for drugs and vaccines, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of close to what Wabi was going to be doing or should be doing or could be doing. So I don't know how that's going to affect Wabi, but this is just Shanghai government. See, so China's got the People's Republic of Communism, which is out of Beijing. Shanghai is a whole nother region in China, but China as a country, so Shanghai government, I guess, would kind of be similar to, I don't know, maybe California's government deciding to use uh, Ethereum for something. Jeff, I'm tired of investors talking about price rather than ever talking about adoption or practicing adoption. What do you think? Rick says that's, yeah. Well, the problem with the and his mom or brother into using cryptocurrency. You're talking about them actually using cryptocurrency every single day, or trying to use, like right now in Dubai, there's no place, even if I had like the 10x card or some sort of card, you know, I would say Monaco, but it's not called Monaco anymore. I forget what it's called, but 10x. If I had a 10x card in my wallet, like I don't here in Dubai, I haven't seen anyone talking about Bitcoin being able to accept Bitcoin payments. So uh, there's got to be there's this big issue with that. I know that even 4 years ago, it seemed like there was Bitcoin ATMs and stuff like that popping up, and then they removed them. So we've still got a long ways to go. And I think the biggest problem in the market right now, honestly, if I'm completely honest with you, it's scammers. I mean, I just found out the other day that someone was talking to like people have told me on Telegram, "Hey, was that you I was talking about?" Like they'll message me on Twitter, and they'll be like, "Hey, was that really you I was talking to on Telegram?" I'm like, "No, I don't even talk to anyone on Telegram hardly. Like I only talk to like maybe like." And I was like, "But I wasn't talking to you. I don't even know who you are." And they're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, it seemed like you." So someone like scammed some ICO using my name, and I'm like kind of pissed off about it because I'm like, but I mean, you guys have seen in the comments, every Twitter post has like, send us 23 Ethereums. My whole thing is, if you guys are getting scammed by people who say they're Superman or Jeff or Box Mining or Crypto Bobby or whoever or John McAfee, and like, I don't know, like, it's one, it for sure pisses me off that someone's impersonating me when it's not me, because who knows what people will believe and think. But I can tell you right now, it's not me. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of scammer stuff. That's just one level of scam, and that doesn't even include like the ICO scams that came out. I mean, I personally have been duped by a couple ICOs, that, like this one called, I don't even want to put any on the blast, but I mean, I invested in the ICO and I never even got my tokens. and I've been trying to get my tokens from them, and they don't respond to my emails or anything. When that happens, you know what? That really pisses me off. I don't know what it does to you, but it pisses me off. If I invest in an ICO, I mean, even if it was like what at the time it was like zero point 0.5 Ethereum or maybe 1 Ethereum, which back then was worth like $1,000, but still to not get anything out of it makes me upset. But that is the problem with crypto. And I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky to not have to deal with crummy people, but I don't know how the heck crypto got so many crummy people. We're talking about like legit scammers. Oh yeah, you guys want me to say the name? I should because they haven't responded to any of my emails. Uh, bulls won't come back until new money comes in. Yeah, that's the thing keeping new money out of it is these scams. Like it's it's got to get cleaned up. I mean, but if you look, like I was telling you, watch the PayPal Mafia story. Just go after this video, go watch PayPal Mafia on YouTube and see how the story was. I mean, they went through a lot of learning. I mean, there was a big learning curve. Even Elon Musk starting out as X.com, they had scammers trying to, there was mafias trying to take them out, or not just take them out, but using their platform to scam people, and it actually ended up costing PayPal some money because they were allowing these scammers. So that's why now, like you notice, if you that's why PayPal has so many protocols in place to make sure that you are who you say you are when you're sending the money and that you intended to send that money. But before they had that, people were just, there was, I think they said there was like a Nigerian mafia and a Russian mafia that were just constantly hacking PayPal. You guys like altcoin buzz ladies? That's good. Rick says people's ignorance towards the space is the reason that attracts scammers. Yeah, it's I don't think it's the ignorance. I think it's just the youthful excitement that comes with youth. Youth just gets so carried away with the opportunity. I see it so many times, like almost most of the youth, especially under 25, they're just like, ready to try anything, right? And those that tends to be the if you're like over 30 and you're getting hustled a lot in crypto after you're like one or two, like third time you shouldn't be getting hustled too much. Like now, because the ICO market was so hot, like I was just investing in like all sorts of different ICOs. I was hungry for ICOs because I had had some success with ICOs. Uh, and so I would just be like, "Oh, this one, decentralized exchange. Yeah, okay, looks good. I'll throw some profit at that because you'd have a bunch of profit just laying around, right? I'd be like, why not just spread it out a little bit, see which ones sprout. But still it came out. Some of them were scam. Jeff, military background is why he's so diligent in getting us these videos and not quitting on crypto. That's military style, never giving up. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, man. I I do have some resiliency that came from that, but I think every single one of you guys who are watching this video and have still been in crypto are the same as me. I mean, we're all hanging in there. I mean, you guys are the same as me. So I mean, I appreciate the compliment, but I would also tip my cap to you guys genuinely and say that you guys are also, still riders. I mean, you guys haven't given up either. So I mean, we're all in this together. I'm one of you. That's the thing. That's why you guys like me is because I'm one of you. I'm not some guy sitting up there at CNBC Fast Money, looking at some chart here going like this and that. I'm talking real talk with you guys just as if we were to meet and chill out at the bar or I don't know, sit next to each other on an airplane or whatever. Jeff, how do we convince Trump to be on the side of crypto and executive order? Look, Trump, did you even see his most recent tweet? He's like, Trump, Why is he going after the most recent tweet? He said something about LeBron James and Don Lemon, and then he likes Mike. And I was like, that's crossing the line right there. Like, you don't need to be talking about that. Uh, and I'm still trying to figure out what the deal is, but he's on his own thing, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. He's president, and actually, Trump has caused me some frustration as a traveler. Like I said, I support the American president, whether it's Obama or has caused me some stress because I'll be in a foreign country. Like I remember, like here recently, I'm in Dubai, and he said something. He tweeted out to Iran. He said, "How dare the president of Iran say this and that?" And I'm like, well, what the heck? Do I need to like get out of here? Is this about to be a hostile war zone right now? Like one time I was in China, and he tweeted at North Korea pretty hard. So I was just, he just does these bombastic tweets that I'll wake up to, and I'll like take a swallow, a big gulp. I'll be like, okay, flights to New York. How fast can I get there if I need to? How do I feel about electronium? Well, a lot of people were down on electronium because of what happened with Google banning mining apps. Electronium tweeted out saying that they weren't affected by it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm if I'm if electronium does what it does, we'll see. If it Who knows at this point. I mean, all that's all I can say about that. I mean, it's we're in one of those situations where electronium is just not my top priority to even think about. I'm not putting any energy into it. And if that project wants to be worth a darn, they're going to have to prove that they are. And if they're not, then they were just a splash in the pan that just talked a big game and didn't deliver. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of cryptocurrency projects that are going to go down as having talked a big game and then deliver. Just like I talked a big game when I was, talking about my portfolio, and some of them didn't back out. But I have to adjust. I can't look back. I have to look forward, and that's kind of the way it's got to be because looking back, you're not going to win the marathon by looking back. You got to keep running forward. And I've been doing business now in tech, 35, been doing it now for quite a few years. And you win some, you lose some. But when you win, man, you can win big, and it'll make up for a lot of your losses. But you just can't dwell on the losses and let that discourage you. You just have to get better with time, is really what it is. And I think a lot of you guys are up for the task. Don't be scared to stay with it. Don't think that, hey, I mean, do what you want to do, but I'm just saying, like, just because you've gotten knocked down doesn't mean you're down and out, right? Like, you know, you get knocked down, you get back up if you can. But it's also not for the weak-hearted. And I'm not saying that I'm some sort of superstar stud because I'm still in crypto, and that you guys are some superstar studs because you're still in crypto. But I mean, crypto really does take some serious strength, right? What's up, Chris? Showed up in big green right there. So Chris's comment shows up in big green. If you were Jeff Bezos and you can buy any crypto outright, which one would you buy, and what would you do with it to make money? Well, obviously Jeff Bezos is more than just a billionaire or the richest man in the world. He's also got a platform which could considerably launch. I mean, that could just change the whole cryptocurrency world just by accepting a cryptocurrency. Amazon, right? If Amazon did that, if I was to do that, because Jeff Bezos has a lot of pull, he could really just put anything on the map with the reach of Amazon, right? I would say he'd probably have to want to look at the best tech, probably a high circulating supply. Man, what a great question. The first two coins that popped into my head were Stellar and Cardano. Those were the first two coins that popped in my head when you said that. And I'm probably just going to stick with that. Uh, yeah. Uh, well, I actually the first coin that popped in my head was Ethereum. To be completely, uh, if I'm really just being right there with you, I did think Ethereum. I also thought Bitcoin. I did not think Ripple. I did not think Bitcoin Cash. I did not think EOS. I didn't think Litecoin. So I would say probably Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, or Cardano. That would be my. That'd be where I'd be looking. Who do you guys? I mean, what are your two or your four? I gave four. Who would you guys say? Yeah, crypto is tough. Okay, so you guys, Joshua Lamport, he says TRX. I did think about Tron because it's got that super high supply, which now VeChain coming up has a super high supply too, which is interesting. XLM, which is Stellar, and then Cardano. You guys said Icon, Ether, Vet, LTC, 0x, Neo, Ontology, Nano. Nano, I knew a lot of people were gonna. I knew some people were gonna say Nano. ETN, I mean ETN, yeah, ETN, but ETN is just they've. There's a lot of people who've been really jaded by ETN. I don't know if that'd be the best selection. Anyone talk about VeChain? Yeah, we already talked about VeChain twice, so we already went over that twice. Thanks to everyone who smashed up those likes. We're at 121, and it's growing our audience base too. So that's good. That'll keep me on here if you guys want me to keep going. Um, Shosh Watt. Shosh said VeChain, Ethereum, SafeX, and Ethos. SafeX is my underdog. That's my underdog pick. Like, because if you guys are okay, first of all, before you go jump onto the exchange and go buy SafeX, before you do anything, go follow Daniel DeBeck on Twitter. Okay, his name's Daniel DeBeck, DABEK. Go catch up with him. Let it mull around in your mind for a couple days and see if you like what SafeX is up to and see if you believe in this guy's leadership to lead SafeX to a strong future. So do not just hear that I like SafeX as the underdog. It's extremely undervalued, or well, it's extremely low market cap. So if it does go up, it's got a lot of room to grow. But ah yeah, okay, Redcoin. That's another one. Redcoin, I mean that's one of those like when the market rallies, Redcoin will be right there with it probably. But who knows? Well, yeah, you guys are talking about Electroneum a lot on here. So what that tells me is, you know, you guys are in the same boat that I'm in. ETN cannot build up that much crypto and still have constant breakdowns. Yeah, I mean they've got to get in the office and really iron out all their malfunctions, which I would like to think that by now they should have ironed most of that stuff out. Like I'm okay with them having malfunctions because that happens, right? Like even the Tesla Model 3, right? It's got malfunctions still. They got to work those out. So I'm okay with it, but they've got to actually get it done to where it's like, let's get some fluidity here. Let's get a well-oiled machine rolling at some point. And right now would be a really good time for Electronium to have a well-oiled machine. If they still don't have a well-oiled machine after all they've gone through, they cannot continue to use that. Oh, it was only 7, 8 months ago that we just came out of ICO. BS. Those guys almost a year old project. They are a year old project, and they're using a Monero source code, so they should really be on track. And there's no excuse for them right now that if they don't have at least a good tech, fluid tech, uh, it's whatever. CNN coin. You must be following me on Twitter. Dogecoin. Dogecoin was originally started as a joke and it got taken serious. I still do not have any interest in Doge, but it could, if there was one coin that could become like the Reddit coin or uh some of these other like was it Chan? What's 4chan coin? It would probably be Doge. I just wouldn't use Doge. I'm more interested in for me if I'm gonna I'm looking at like a kind of a more legit project than Doge, but we'll see. VeChain is we've already talked about VeChain, so we're not going there. PundyX, not going to go there. Neblio. All right, guys. Well, anyways, thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes. I'll keep going, but if you guys are just going to use this time to, all right, here we go. Which websites do you visit daily? Um, YouTube. I visit YouTube daily. Um, Facebook, Twitter. I guess those are apps or websites, right? But if you're talking about crypto, you can expect altcoinbuzz.io to over time become more of a go-to source for up to the minute uh, news, not just old news or stuff that's already kind of been said. We're talking about like relevant, up to the minute news, and those days are coming. We've been getting slowly but surely. We're getting closer and closer to that with the news. Right now, you also have what CoinDesk and Crypto Telegraph that you can go to. Also, you can follow Altcoin Buzz News on Twitter for that news. If you don't want to have to go to the website directly every time to see what's going on, just follow Altcoin Buzz News. It's got the blue logo, and that will get you guys plugged right in there with the news as it's tweeted out. ETF coming up. Who knows about the ETF? I mean, your best bet would be to talk or follow Pomp. Go follow Pomp. Go on Twitter and follow Pomp. I mean, he's the one who's always hyping up crypto. If you're not already following Pomp, if you're into crypto and you're not following Pomp, you're missing out. But here we go. This is what he said, Pomp. So A Pompolano, ICE, owner of New York Stock Exchange, just announced a global platform to enable consumers and institutions to seemingly buy, sell, store, and spend digital assets. For us right now, the biggest thing that's missing is the spend. I was telling you guys right now, that's the thing that we need is the spend. We need to be able to spend these digital assets. Once we can spend these digital assets, that's when everything changes. Well, that sounds like a lot of confidence, but it also sounds like I'll tone it back a little bit. That would be when I would anticipate the big the 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 quadricep to happen: buy, sell, store, and spend. Right, so it's a quad, all four corners. The spend is what's missing right now. And Pomp said this may be the biggest news of 2018. Like I said, go follow him, A Pompolano. We were planning on doing an altcoin buzz coin. I have to talk to Shosh about that. The big thing that our goal with the altcoin buzz coin is not to get caught up in these weird pump and dump things where the price is highly volatile and people get hurt. So if we're going to do an altcoin buzz coin, it has to be something where it's got a lot of stability and people aren't getting hurt. That's what we don't want to have happen is people getting into a cryptocurrency and then and then people getting hurt, losing money with it and stuff like that. So, and I don't know if that's even really possible to make that kind of thing happen because once it's on the free market, people buy and sell, and who's to say that someone won't come in and pump up the coin unbeknownst to us and then dump it or something like that. But I think that was the thing that was kind of like holding us back a little bit. What would be its use case? Yeah, it would be like for the community to use it socially, kind of thing. um, a coin can be used for pretty much anything when it's actually live and existing. But our initial is just for you guys to be able to use it as some sort of currency among the crypto community socially. come, but you have to be flexible with where it could go and what it could be used for and what people could be using it for. Like Bitcoin was originally created for peer-to-peer cash transactions. Now it's being used as a store of value, not even anything peer-to-peer. But if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, it's a peer-to-peer uh, exchange method, right? Now it's a store of value. So, I mean, I'm sure Satoshi didn't think that was ever going to happen. But things can change, and that's just the big thing is just be really flexible. Altcoin Buzzcoin to verify legit news via blockchain. Yeah, that's another idea, and also being open to ideas from the community. And like I said, it's not me anymore as the primary. It's a whole bunch of people, and it includes you guys. So it's not just me, and I'm not doing a king thing, right? So if it was only me, it would be I'd be like, I'm the man of the house. What I say goes. It's not like that. It's more of a community consensus, and that's the whole objective of what we're trying to achieve is what's the community consensus? How do we do the right thing? How do we keep things kosher? How do we keep things appropriate, realizing that the market is like one of these things. I mean, that's the biggest thing we've got out of this whole thing is that the market is like front, back, side to side. I mean, it's like a low rider that just won't stop pumping the airbags every even when we say stop this ride, stop the ride, let me off. Can you give us opinion on current situation in crypto in general? Just want to know where you think the bottom line is. I don't know where the bottom line is. I mean, we've really been kind of just hovering at this uh, market cap. I mean, we've been in between 225 billion and 300 billion for quite some time where we've just been really just flat. I mean, how long have we been flat like this? At least a month, right? So if we go back 3 months, it all kind of just got here around about middle of June. So about almost 2 months now, we've really just been running flat, which should be forming a really strong support line for the overall asset class. I would say that would just be an assumption, but we'll see. I mean, we had that little run up last week where you could have made some money if you were day trading, you know, where you had 2 weeks ago it was fairly low and then it went up for a week and you could have taken some profit on some stuff you bought a week ago. Could it happen again? Could we see another run up? Could you make some profit in 2 weeks? Well, that's if you're doing what I'm not doing because I'm not doing that. But you could. I'm sure there's plenty of YouTubers out there willing to teach you how to read charts. 7 is the number of posterity. Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of different things. There's like I know people who talk about it's 1111, make a wish. Number 7, like make sure your numbers are 777. And then people are talking about this Mercury planet being in retrograde and what were they talking about the lunar eclipse? So I mean, I've got a whole bunch of people saying a whole bunch of different things about. The only thing I know is that's all superstitious, and I came to a conclusion about 3 years ago that I'm not doing any superstitions. Anything superstition it doesn't work. Superstitions don't work. But even 7, the number 7. If it was that easy, I would just go to the lotto ticket right now and just buy a whole bunch of 7s, but then they'd pull a 12, a 6, a 14, a 32, and a 64, and then I wouldn't get anything because I had my 7s on there. You see what I'm saying? Oh yeah, and then there's the like I was at the Dubai Frame tonight. They have this thing called the Dubai Frame. It's this beautiful. I'll show you. Uh, Here, let me show you guys. Look at this thing. It's pretty nice, right? Oh, it's pretty cool. But you can see it changes colors too. But on there it says This was built with the golden ratio. So I'm like, okay, that reminds me. Let me go study the golden ratio real quick. You guys know what the golden ratio is, right? Like Fibonacci's, you know. So you guys talking about 369. But that building there was built with using the golden ratio. Darren says, Jeff, have you decided where you're traveling to next? I think it's awesome what you're doing. Well, I'm actually decided to spend more time in the Middle East. I'd like to. The reason I'm here is for a couple reasons. Dubai is, like I said, it's unlike any city I've ever been to. Also, it allows me the opportunity to experience different culture. Uh, like I like to experience the Middle East and see what the the truth is. I don't think the UAE is necessarily the only representation of how the Middle East is, but the UAE does have a lot of different people from around this region. You know, Pakistan. Uh, there's people from all over, really. Philippines a lot. You know, so it gives me an opportunity to experience um, just a real variety of culture. So I'm thinking about spending some more time in Dubai. And yeah, I do enjoy it that much. It's just hot. Actually, it's not, it hasn't been as hot lately. 3 days ago, it was like step outside hot, like step outside and sweat hot. Um, if your travels, where would you be of the best places to stay for a couple months if you're an online trader somewhere affordable? Okay. So, Rick, good question. Dubai is really expensive in the winter, but in the summer, no one comes here because it's so hot. Like this hotel room that I'm staying in, you can see it's pretty nice, under $100. I would say if you could spend a couple months in Dubai in the summertime, you'll get a really good deal. You step outside, but they've got a lot of indoor stuff too. Like you can find, you can stay, like there's people who wear wool suits around Dubai and, you know, they're not sweating profusely because they've figured out a way to, you know, if they're getting out of a car, they're getting out of an Uber with air conditioner or a taxi with air conditioning. They're going into like these buildings have great AC. It's like the best AC you could ever imagine. um, so I would say Dubai is a great city. If you're looking to save money in the summertime, you can come to Dubai if you're a day trader and you'll enjoy it. It's very modern and it will open your eyes to things that, you know, it'll allow you to see the Middle East in a different light. Um, and I mean, when I first came to Dubai, you know, I had my suspicions about like, well, will it be friendly and this and that? And yeah, I've had a lot of positive interactions here. Like Dubai is one of those cities you can genuinely look at people and get a smile back like consistently. Uh, so that's a positive. I don't know if you could say that about many cities in America. Not to mention, 1 o'clock in the morning in Dubai is safer than 1 o'clock in the morning in New York or Los Angeles or any of those other cities. So if safety is a concern, Dubai, you don't have to worry about that. Price, Dubai can be expensive because it's got world class amenities, but in the summertime, like I said, this hotel here under $100, and this is easily a $400 room, $300 $400 room. I don't know easily, but it could be. If this was in London, this room would be $500 at least. Yeah, okay. So Singapore is another one of those cities that I would add to the list. So my top cities that I like to hang out, if I was a full-time trader and I was just looking to chill, I would probably have to say Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. Those are like the three cities. If you want something in Europe that seems like a chill place, I I would say if you wanted to do Italy, you'd probably look at Milan. Florence and Rome are kind of old, but Milan was like pretty new. If money's not so much an issue, definitely Switzerland, like Zurich. Zurich was great. If Zurich's a great, I also said the same thing in my mind. Zurich is a place I'd hang out, but it's just extremely expensive. So some of the top cities I would have to say Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, Zurich. Believe it or not, Lisbon, Portugal was pretty good. I thought Barcelona was pretty cool for that. Um, I want to go back to Copenhagen. I think Copenhagen has the potential to be a pretty good one. I went to Berlin, Germany. I would not go back to Berlin to hang out, probably. Uh, in North America, I kind of liked Montreal. I thought Montreal was pretty cool. I would chill out in Montreal. I could post up in Montreal for a while. Um, yeah, I went to Stockholm in the winter. I have to go back to Stockholm in the summer. Um, I haven't been to Oslo, but oh, I got a city that doesn't get talked about a lot that I like, Taipei. Taipei, Taiwan. I really like that one. I spent a little bit of time in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I thought it was pretty modern. So surprisingly, Kuala Lumpur is pretty modern. Um, it's got like modern infrastructures like Dubai and Taipei, but Taipei is good. Um, China, no. China is not a good place to hang out because they don't have access to a lot of things because of that Chinese firewall. Toronto, I think Toronto's pretty good. Yeah, Toronto's pretty good. I just didn't. I thought Toronto was lacking what Montreal has. Montreal, if you said, I think Toronto's more new, but it doesn't have that vibe that Montreal has. Yeah, I would have to look into using a VPN in China. I have yet to use a VPN um, because the dang guy at the visa agency is like, I was like, can I use a VPN? He's like, no, do not use VPN because Chinese police will come looking for you. And I remember he said it like that because it was like a very monotone voice. He was like, no, do not use VPN because the Chinese police will come looking for you. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to use a VPN in China then. Um, but that his voice still resonates in my head when he said that because I was like, oh, whoa. But China has some amazing cities. Shanghai, it has Shenzhen. Like Shenzhen is next to Hong Kong. It's the well, actually, oh, I got another one for you. Macau. It's part of China, but I recommend Macau. That's one that you got to check out. So go to Macau. Macau for sure. Well, there you go. We have our five. Dubai. Just bounce around. Do all five in 6 months. Spend like a month at each place. Macau, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, and Taipei. If you wanted a sixth one because you're going 6 months, you could try, I would say go to Lisbon, Portugal. Portugal is cool. Whoa. I got to read what this Grand Admiral Gamez is saying. I never used it to look up political dissidents, though. I also lived in Guangzhou, close to Hong Kong. Yeah, so in Hong Kong, if you just go to Hong Kong and you have a Chinese visa, you can do Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, and Macau, and they're all within like the same metropolis. So that's pretty good. So you get four big cities in Hong Kong just by going to Hong Kong. Because you could take the ferry to Macau. You're welcome, Rick. Good question. As you can see, I like talking about that kind of stuff. Cool Cat Carolina says Lisbon is my favorite city in the world. All of Portugal, really. Yeah. Oh man, the city that I really liked in Portugal was called Porto. Porto is the second biggest city in Portugal, and it's in the north, and it's built on like this river valley, and I just thought it was so cool. But it's not modern like Lisbon. Okay, Taj says, I lived in Qatar most of my life. Dubai and Qatar is not much different. Yeah, I'm actually looking to, while I'm here, I'm looking to go into Qatar, Oman, and also go to Abu Dhabi, which I have not been to. But Qatar, I'm still trying to figure out the visa requirements for Qatar. Maybe you know. Arthur says Porto is awesome. Yes, it is. It's a very scenic place. I like Porto. Did you go to Nazaire Super Tubes in Portugal is the biggest wave in the world. I was trying to find I don't know how they pronounce it, but I was trying to find it because there's a couple places in Portugal called Nazare, and they're like close to Nazarene. I don't know. They were coastal, and I think it's just north of Lisbon, isn't it? Keep that info on the down low. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep some of it on the down low. Oh, okay, and if we wanted to go below the border or the equator, um, you could if you wanted to hang out below the equator. Perth, I really like Perth. I also like Sydney and I like Gold Coast, and they could use some people. Well, the Australian government might not let them come in because they're really a pain in the butt about that. But those three cities right there, I didn't really care for Melbourne that much, but I did like Gold Coast. I did like Sydney, and I like Perth a lot. But no one goes to Perth because it's way out there. But Perth is legit. Auckland, yeah, Auckland's another one of those spots that you could chill out. It's very true. I like Auckland. New Zealand's a very safe place too. It's just kind of expensive. No, I did not smoke any hash, man. I haven't done any of that stuff. The only thing I've been doing is drinking beer. And actually, now that I've got to Dubai, I hardly even drink anything. So I'm pretty much sober except for coffee. Because, in the Middle East, they don't really like, you can get beer here, but it's inside your hotels. Like, you can't, like, if I go out to, what I was used to doing was I'd go out to dinner and I'd have a beer or two. But now if I go out to dinner, they're serving virgin cocktails. No, I'm not traveling on crypto profit. I haven't sold anything yet, and nope. This is money that I've earned outside of crypto. Go to Marble Bar in Australia, and it's not a bar; it's a town in the desert, underground houses. Oh, really? Opal. My uncle used to go to Australia for Opal, so that kind of strikes a chord with me. Daniel, Daniel's speaking for me. I do multiple different things. Like I'm always looking to start up. I know you guys don't really like when I talk about Island Hopper TV, but that's like where I'm putting some of my energy right now. I've also got some other things that I'm working on that are not necessarily media. Well, they're media related, but they're not channels. Me owned. They're not owned by me. They're doing doing the work and showing other people how to be successful on other platforms uh, in the travel space. Darwin, Australia, not been there. I've got to go back to Australia though. Man, that's a big sucker, and I like it's expensive and it's spread out. Man, where do you plan to take some profits out? When? Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously the market's got to go up. If the market goes to a trillion, and I need to do something really exciting, like my whole thought with or my whole hope with, well, not my hope. Okay, what I'm waiting for. Okay, because it's going to happen. Okay, is the crypto market to gain momentum and my positions to go up so that I can leverage that profit into um, things like real estate, and other ventures that are lucrative opportunities. Realizing, you can't. Uh, One thing I did learn is you got to kind of stick to what you know. If you try to go into something like completely outside of what you know, the odds of that not working are going to be a lot higher than if you stick to something you know. Darwin full of hickory farmers. Daniel says he's got multiple streams of income. Good. That's great, man. I always hear Qatar Airlines flying into O'Hare. I'm maybe I should fly on Qatar Airlines too. Aussie, yeah. Yeah, real estate. That's where I'd like to really get into. one of the things I've lived in some really beautiful places and been to some really beautiful places, and one of the things that frustrates me about beautiful places is when the infrastructure, the structures, the buildings are just not being repaired or restored, or the sidewalks are not properly upkept, or the town in general is not manicured correctly. uh, that's frustrating for me because I've been to some very beautiful places that did not that had high prices that did not manicure their roads or their sidewalks or their lawns around those areas or their trees. And I look at that as lazy real estate owners, and they're probably only in it for the money. They could give two darn to you know what's about whether or not that stuff is taken care of, if, as long as it's pulling in the money. And the only way that thought that I could make a difference was to, well, if you can't if you can't beat them, be one, I guess you could say. Uh, so I was like, well, it just became really apparent to me that I should go into real estate. Hopefully, I would maintain, if I was in a highly profitable area and I was making money, I would not be so tight with my money that I would not manicure the community, or at least be on the community board that says, hey, let's manicure this. Where, Arthur? Where are you located? Oh, you're in the Netherlands. Oh, I've been to the Netherlands. Yeah, I've been in the Netherlands. They've got a fantastic rail system, road system, manicured streets. Yeah, Netherlands is great. Daniel says his family's from Zakynthos, outside of Sparta. That's an island. That's where that shipwreck beach is. Have you ever swam with any mermaids or any sea creatures? Cranberry. No, I've never swam with a mermaid. But, well, are you talking about like models? Like, there was a time when I was in Hawaii when my friend was always working with models and we'd pretend like they were mermaids. And that's fun. That is actually fun. Like, that's fun. Can't really flirt with them or anything, but I mean, you can hang out with them, but you can't like get to like, because they all got boyfriends and stuff like that. But if that's what you're talking about, but the sea creatures, yeah, I've swam with like 14-foot manta rays, uh, dolphins, wild dolphins. The wild dolphins are unbelievable. I still would like to swim with whale sharks. Um, but it's just funny you'd ask if I've ever swam with mermaids. Oh man. South America, yeah. Crypto nomad. Oh, another city that you could hang out with or hang out and chill out in United States is Vegas. Vegas is a but if you don't want to do Vegas, I got another one that's just as cool, a little bit smaller. It's called the smallest big city in the world, Reno. And I like Reno. Reno, when I was in the service, we used to go to close to Area 51, right? Not We didn't go to Area 51, it wasn't called that, but we would one of our uh, detachments were up there, and we'd go to Reno, and I really like Reno. I think Reno's uh, one cool place to chill out. If Vegas is too hot or Vegas is too much for you, check out Reno. That's a place to chill out. I actually haven't been back to Reno in so long. I should go back to Reno. What is the best tough car to travel USA? Oh man, I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that one, but if I was to travel across the USA, I would, number one, I would need fuel efficiency. So, but I would probably like to have like I had a pretty cool Ford. There was this one Ford that I drove. I think it was called a Ford Escape. Or maybe it was like it was a newer Ford SUV. It had pretty good mileage and it was pretty good. And I don't think it was that expensive. But it would have to be something like an SUV because I like when I was in Northern California exploring the redwoods this last summer or this last winter, you in order to get down to the creek bed or the river, you've got to drive that like Toyota Land Cruiser. A Land Cruiser would be legit. All right, guys, if you guys want to check out and do more of these live feeds also, where we talk about more travel stuff, Island Hopper TV on YouTube. I got to get going.